up, Booty Tribe? It's your girl Naja here, and I'm back with another video. And ooh, my eyelash is itching. Okay. This video is going to be another call center story time. I have not done a call center story time in like a hot minute, so I decided to go ahead and grace you guys with one. I have said on other videos, but not on a call center video about this, but the call center series is slowly coming to an end. Like, the point that we're at in the story is like around the time where I end up leaving Ratchet Corp and working for YouTube. So yeah, I did make a video explaining how I left Ratchet Corp and stuff like that. So if you guys do want to see that, if you want to know how it all ends, there's a video called I Quit My Job for YouTube or something along those lines on my channel somewhere. You guys can go and watch it. But yeah, there's probably only like 2 or 3 more stories and then we're done with the call center series. And I know it sucks, a lot of you guys really like it, but I mean, I was working there for 3 years and that's pretty much that. Like, you know, it's just gonna get wrapped up at this point. So this story time is going to be about the time where a potluck got intruded on, and it's just like this unspoken rule at Ratchet Corp. Like, if the potluck is not for your department, do not go in there and get any food. And one of the temp workers just went ahead and did it, and it started some drama. So I'm just gonna get right into it. If you like my call center series, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And yeah, I'm just gonna get right on into it. So when this took place, it was kind of like more so like the end, like the plateau of peak season, and it was like a few people were getting weeded out and getting terminated from their temporary positions and stuff like that. So it was a very critical moment in my department for the temp workers to show that they can keep up with the work and that they can keep working for Ratchet Corp in the loss prevention department. So anything that you did could potentially make you not have a job anymore, or it could potentially have you to keep your job. So, and like I said in previous story times, the year that I'm talking about, Ratchet Corp hired directly outside of the company into the temp position of loss prevention. So it's not like these people would get fired or terminated from loss prevention and then be a customer service agent. Like, they were completely fired from the company of Ratchet Corp. So it was a big deal. Some people took it seriously and then some people did not. I mentioned this in, I want to say, the previous call center story time that I did, where we had something called workforce. A lot of places, a lot of call centers have a workforce management or whatever, and they were throwing a potluck. I do not remember why they were throwing a potluck or what it was for, but they were throwing a potluck. And workforce, their stations was very close to the loss prevention room. So, you know, we're watching, and so we're here and here they are, and on the side is like a little office. And that little office is where workforce was going to do their potluck and set up their food in there, and then, you know, eat in there or whatever and bring it back to their desk or whatever they wanted to do, right? Now, there's like this unspoken code at Ratchet Corp where it's like, if it's not your department, don't eat their food. Like, no. And the main people who are really bad at doing that was customer service, because if they saw food somewhere, they just automatically like assumed that it was for them for whatever fucking reason. But if the social media department was doing a potluck, don't just go into their shit and take their food because you're not in the social media department. Like, if the marketing department's having a potluck, don't just go in there and take their food because you're not part of the marketing team. Like, it's just it's an unspoken rule. Now, it's different if, say, you are cool with somebody on the marketing team and they're doing a potluck for the marketing team and you're like, hey, can you get me a plate? Or maybe they'll be like, hey, would you like a plate? That's different because they're offering you something XYZ. Like, it's completely different than if you just walk up to somebody's shit, make a plate and dip. Like, that's rude anywhere though. Like, if you really think about it, like, that's like somebody coming to your cookout and and just taking a plate and leaving just because your cookout was in your front yard. Like, it's rude. But for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about the temp people at Ratchet Corp and the customer service agents, but they just like assumed that if it was free for everybody, when it's like, no, these are people actually like cooking at home and bringing it here for their teammates. And then here you go, a stranger, eating people's food. Everybody that was in workforce, there were no temp workforce people. Like everybody was seasoned, if that makes any sense, and like they have been in the game for a very long time. Even I don't remember what I named her, but my homegirl that told me that they were watching me and Vontae in workforce, even she was a team lead as well as been working at Ratchet Corp for a long time before she got that workforce position. So it's like these are OG people, like people that have been there even longer than I had been there. Like, so it's even worse if you try to steal their food. It's just a regular schmegular old day in loss prevention. We're all chilling, we're doing our work, and you know, we start to see people come and set up food in that little office. Now me, because I was friends with one of the girls in workforce, and she makes like the best macaroni and cheese. Well, I'm not gonna do my mom like that and say it's the best, because my mom can make some really good ass mac and cheese, but she makes really good mac and cheese, and she knew that I was like obsessed with mac and cheese. And she was also like really cool, like when I gained weight while working there, like she would always make me feel like I don't know, like she just made me feel good about like my weight gain and stuff. And she would always be like, oh, if you ever need any food, just let me know. So she would always bring me like a leftovers of some mac and cheese. So when I saw the mac and cheese and I saw her place it into the little room, I'm like, okay, bet, I'm about to get me some mac and cheese later or whatever, because it was one of those things where you literally had to call dibs and get a plate, because her mac and cheese would just be gone. Like she had the best mac and cheese at Ratchet Corp, like everybody knew it, right? There was literally one girl that has the best mac and cheese, and then there's another girl that has the best deviled eggs. And yeah, that's just, I don't know, it's just is what it is. And I rarely eat other people's food, so if I'm telling you it was good, it was good, okay? So boom, they're getting all set up, and you know, we're talking in loss prevention, and we're just like, damn, workforce having a potluck. We haven't even had a potluck this year. Like we were supposed to have a potluck, but we didn't, because to be honest, that year, that peak season, like we weren't really that close knit. But the season before, when freaking Raymond was in there and he was in charge of all the stuff, like we as a department were forced to be close with each other, because it's like he was so horrible, we were all that we had. But this go around, we really weren't that close. The whole Quana drama and stuff was already done and over with. Like this is like way after that, but it's just like we didn't really form like any type of relationship to where we would do a potluck, if that makes any sense. Like me and maybe like 5 other people would just go do a potluck outside of work, but like we didn't really have that relationship to where we do that. But we're watching workforce put together their potluck and everything. You know, they go get some plates and you know, they eat, and then they go sit back at their desk, but there's still food in that little office in case somebody wants to come and get it, because we know better than to leave the food in the break room or in the fridge and stuff, so the customer service agents who think everything is for them can just come and eat it. Like, you know better, you knew better basically. So they kept their food in the office, like even the refrigerated stuff, because they literally just got done making their plates and just sat down to eat. Now one girl, and I don't even remember her name or anything, like I really don't even remember her name, so like, but I do know that she was one of the ratchets that was like really cool with Quana at the beginning, but then she simmered down a bit. But she was still ratchet, but she was quiet because she didn't have nobody to feed off on her energy with or whatever. So she went, I don't know if she went to break or to lunch, but all I know is that she got up out her chair and she walked out of the room. And it's pretty obvious when you walk out the room is only so small. So she walks out the room, we all see her walk out the room, but then she hits a sharp left and goes into the office with workforce's food. So me and the other OGs kind of make eye contact, and we're like, what is she doing? What is she doing? What is this girl doing? Y'all, I shit y'all not. She got a plate, she put some stuff on her plate, and then she came, and then she went to the break room, right? So once we saw that, me and Risha and all of us, we're just talking, and we're just like, yo, did this girl really just like go in there and like take their food and leave as if it was her food? Like, that is so rude. And we're just like, oh my god this, oh my god that. My homegirl who makes a good mac and cheese actually chatted Risha and told her like, yo, who is this girl that just went up in there and ate the food from our potluck? So Risha's telling me like, yo, they're not happy that she just went and did that, and that could possibly be the hay, what is it called, the hay on the camel's back, is that how the saying goes? I'm not really sure. The straw. Literally, like, you're competing to stay in this company that any small little thing, and workforce were the people that decided that, and you just went ahead at the end of peak season when you could get terminated, you go and steal food from their potluck. Like, Risha was a TL in loss prevention. That's why my homegirl was chatting Risha and was just like, yo, what is that girl's name? Like, why did she go in there and take our stuff? Like, that's not cool. Like, it would have been different if she would have asked. And at this point, we're all talking out loud about it because multiple people saw it happen, like multiple OGs, because at this point, there were not that many temp workers still in the room because they were firing people. So, you know, we're just openly talking about it, and there are still some temps. I don't know if any of you guys remember Tracy from the Storytime, where, you know, she was just a little bit too all up on me for my taste. If you guys remember that one, that girl Tracy was like, oh, so we're not supposed to go in there, blah 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 blah. And pretty sure if you were to ask them, maybe they would let you do it, because that's all that my homegirl in workforce kept saying. She was like, it would be different if the girl would just ask, but you don't just like walk into somebody's shit and just take some food and dip. So Tracy, being fucking petty, gonna walk out the door and keep the door open, mind you. She kept the door cracked, put her foot in the door, and then like looked around the corner to talk to workforce and was like, hey, do you guys mind if I go and get a plate? Oh, like, I heard from my desk, I heard them like, yeah, no, it's no problem. Go ahead, it's no problem. And then I hear my homegirl who made the macaroni and cheese talking about,
I really appreciate you for asking, Tracy.
And then a few people started laughing. So I'm like, oh my God, I could only imagine like what's gonna happen when this girl comes back and it gets so fucking worse. So, you know, Tracy goes in there and she's making her plate or whatever, and then she comes out. I see her waving through the door because there was like a window on the door. So I see her waving at workforce or whatever, and then she comes and sits at her desk. Now, this is when the girl who stole the plate comes back from lunch. So she's walking back towards the door, but in order to get into loss prevention room, you have to pass workforce. Now, the lady who makes the mac and cheese really well, she is very outspoken. She's like older than my mom. Like, she's very wise. She don't play. She's very, very nice though, but she does not fucking play. Like, she does not play. Like, she's very straight. When old girl came by, I don't know who said what because the door was closed, but I just saw her stop, and somebody was talking to her and she talked back, and then next thing you know, all I hear is, wow, y'all being so drawn out, it's just food, it's just food. And me and Risha look at each other and we're just like, oh my God, she's dug her hole, she's fired. She's dug her hole, she just snapped, she is fired. So then she comes into the room still going off, talking about, it's just food, oh my God, they are so drawn out, oh my God. So then she closes the door, she goes back to her desk, and she talks to the girl right next to her. So, did you know that we weren't supposed to eat that food? And she was like, I mean, I didn't even think to, because y'all, you know, we being nosy as fuck, so the room's quiet. But she was just like, I didn't even think to eat the food. And then here go Tracy. Yeah, you were supposed to ask. I asked and I got food. And I'm just like, oh my God, here we go. Risha lets me know, she was like, yeah, old girl macaroni and cheese lady said she's about to hit up our supervisor and tell him about all that shit. So, you know, Risha was like, you know, to save her ass, because I feel bad, because the girl was a good worker. Like, she was very to herself, she was a good worker. It's just like similar to what's going on right now, she would just have outbursts sometimes, right? So Risha was just like, you know what, even though she has outbursts and she's kind of rude, she keeps to herself and she gets her work done. And I would feel terrible if she gets fired because of she stole some deviled eggs and some rice and greens and shit, you know what I'm saying? So she went up to the girl and she basically told her, she was like, look, just go over there, apologize to them for it, okay? It's really not a big deal. Like you said, it's not a big deal, but these people, they kind of have your future employment in their hands right now. So, you know, she sucked her shit up and she went outside, the door closed, and I was looking through the window from my desk and I just saw her mannerisms were different and she was talking to them and stuff, and you know, it was all good. And then she ended up coming back in the room was quiet. And Tracy talking about, what happened, girl? What happened? What happened? What happened? And she was just like, nothing. They just said they accepted my apology. If you're at a potluck, like, don't be stealing other people's potlucks. Like, just don't. And then don't be getting mad when somebody confronts you for stealing their food. Like, it's just like, yeah, it might be just food to you, but it wasn't just food to you when you was hungry and you put that shit on your plate. Like, what? So yeah, that girl ended up not getting fired. She actually ended up getting hired on permanent. They did not put that little petty thing against her. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because it was really petty. But it was just so funny because, you know, like some of you guys know, like those of you who watch my call center videos who work at call centers, you guys know how boring it is. So the littlest shit is just like entertainment for days. Like we're all just in the room like, oh my God, she ate their potluck. Oh my God. But in reality, it's like so minute. And I'm just glad that they didn't fire her over that stupid ass potluck incident. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was kind of a short story. I'm sorry guys, kind of a short story. Moral of the story though, don't steal other people's food. Always ask, because you never know. They might just say yeah, and you might get what you want and not look like a dick. And that's fundamental, especially when you're walking on thin ice. So yeah, that's pretty much it guys. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments below. Has this ever happened to you before, where somebody stole food from you at your potluck, or somebody just assumed that, you know, they could eat some of your food? Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.